Today, we're taking you through a crash course on climate change and coral reef ecosystems called What If Finding Nemo Never Happened? Everyone remembers Finding Nemo, right? It's the touching story of a tenacious little clownfish who makes a journey through the ocean to find his dad with the help of some friends along the way. All's well that ends well, right? Well, life out there in the big blue ocean might be a little tougher for a clownfish these days. Let's back up a bit though. First, let's talk about coral. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration calls coral reefs the largest structures of biological origin on Earth. Scientists date them all the way back to 300 to 400 million years ago. It may come as a surprise, but corals are actually small animals that share a symbiotic relationship with zooxanthellae, a plant-like algae organism. Coral are made up of hundreds of thousands of tiny creatures called polyps, which are no larger than a nickel. The polyps secrete limestone to attach themselves to rocks or other corals and make a home for the zooxanthellae in their tissues. Zooxanthellae provides the coral with the nutrients it needs to thrive. Fun fact, zooxanthellae also provide coral with its array of beautiful colors. Corals also have symbiotic relationship with other sea creatures. Here's where we get back to our clownfish friends. One of the most famous examples of symbiosis is the mutualistic relationship between clownfish and sea anemones. Clownfish use sea anemones as shelter to protect themselves from predators. Sea anemones normally sting any intruders that get too close to their tentacles, but clownfish are immune to their sting. In exchange, the clownfish help bring oxygen to the anemone when water flow is stagnant, and they chase away other fish that might want to eat the anemone. Coral communities contain about 4,000 species of fish and 800 types of coral. Symbiosis is really common in this incredible underwater ecosystem. Today, coral reefs are experiencing serious environmental challenges as a result of ocean warming and acidification. Ocean acidification occurs when water molecules absorb so much CO2, the pH of the water decreases, becoming more acidic. The acidic water starts to break down hard-shell sea creatures called calcifiers. This includes our coral friends, and here in Washington State, more than 30% of the Puget Sound's marine species are calcifiers like oysters, clams, crabs, and sea stars. Ocean warming is especially bad for coral. As greenhouse gases trap more heat in our atmosphere, increasing global air temperatures, our ocean temperatures also begin to rise. When ocean waters get too warm, coral begin to bleach. Bleaching happens when coral expel the zooxanthellae they depend on for survival, turning them a bright white color. Scientists estimate about 40% of the world's coral is bleached, and although coral doesn't die immediately after bleaching, it can die soon after if temperatures don't cool off quickly. When coral dies, the whole ecosystem faces collapse. So why does this matter? Well, for Nemo, it's life or death. No coral community means no home, no protection from predators, and no food sources. Ocean acidification can affect the nervous system in sea creatures, decreasing their sense of smell, which they rely on to find their way around. That means Nemo would probably have a really hard time finding his dad in a long journey across the ocean. Here on land, coral reefs are a huge deal too. They protect coastal areas and islands from wave activity during storms like major hurricanes. Coral reefs can actually break up hurricane storm waves, dissipating up to 97% of the wave activity. Coral reefs also provide a primary source of food for coastal regions, ingredients for medicine, and are popular tourist attractions, all which result in about $375 billion for people around the world each year. Okay, I'm sure you get the point now. Coral reefs are important and everyone wants a happy ending for Nemo. So you might be wondering how you can get involved. Luckily, there are many ways we can contribute to the protection and restoration of coral reef communities. One of the best ways to protect biodiversity is through establishing MPAs, which are kind of like national parks in the ocean. Today, less than 3% of the world's oceans is protected, whereas 12% of land is protected. You can write your state or country's leaders to request their help in establishing more MPAs across the globe. You can also write to the President of the United States to urge them to sign the Paris Agreements to reduce global carbon emissions that cause ocean acidification. Consider donating to organizations like Coral Guardian or the Coral Restoration Foundation, who are working on replanting coral to grow new reefs. Replanting has proven to be very successful, improving marine diversity by up to 300% within 1 year of replantation. You can also volunteer for an organization like the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, who offers volunteer opportunities for everyone, from scientists to average citizens. Lastly, you can commit to reducing your own carbon footprint by doing little things like eating less beef and riding the bus, your bike, or carpooling when possible. You can make a big difference just by being conscious about your decision making. So, in conclusion, coral reef systems are pretty important and we want to protect them, not just for Nemo, but for the beauty and value they provide us as well. We hope with your help, our coral reefs will have the happy ending they deserve.